So welcome back to the insanity that I call knife making. I thought I would just bring you along real quick. I've got this knife that I've got to glue up real quick, and I thought I would bring you along and show you the process. So the first thing is make sure you have everything laid out, because once you get your epoxy mixed up, it seems to get everywhere, and you don't want to be running through the house looking for paper towels because you've got it all over your hands. The wife isn't too happy about that. So get your gloves, paper towels, Q-tips, alcohol. I use a little bit of beeswax. For some reason, Antler seems to have little porous holes that, not always, but sometimes you'll fill it up and it'll like leak out of these little tiny holes. Usually around where the eye guard is, sometimes down in these areas. I don't know why, but we use this, we're using this Systems 3 stuff, the clear coat, which I really like because how liquidy it is. I can fill it all the way up and I don't have to worry about air pockets. So we'll get started on that. So first thing, you're going to want to make sure that everything is clean. I use Sharpie on my blades as a layout fluid, so you just want to make sure that it's all off. Alright, so now we're all cleaned up. I'm going to have to keep an eye on the camera because for some reason this DSLR that we got for this only records 20 minutes at a time. So for some reason it ends, and you don't see what's going on, then that's probably what happened. So let's get this mixed up here. How much do I want to do? We're going to do 15 cc's or 15 milliliters. Now, a little trick with these, when you buy these, they just come with the normal tops. And they are super watery. Trying to pour them out, they run down the side. So I went to Walmart and bought these, thinking that I could just put them in these containers. But then I realized that the threads on these bottles are exactly the same as these containers. So I just stuck the lids on there and they work perfect. So the last thing we want to do is waste this stuff because it's pricey. So let's do 5 cc's. Now, if any of you guys have ever taken chemistry before, you know that when you measure things out, the liquid is going to have a curve up on the side. It's called a meniscus. So you don't measure to that. You measure to where the bottom of the level of the actual fluid is. So that's why I was eyeballing it from the side. So we've got 5 in there. So now we'll go to 15. Alright, there we go. Now, use these little glass rods to mix. Also, another rule of thumb is you never dispense from the container that you mix in. And so, these things, these little measuring cups the wife got me off of Amazon, there's like freaking a bajillion here. And they're super flexible. They don't crack, they're durable, they've got markings on the side. The only drawback is once, I think the markings are on the inside, yeah. So once the liquid goes up to that, it basically, you can't see the markings. So just make sure you measure it the first time. You can kind of tell when the stuff's all the way mixed is when it's not, you can see like streaks. This stuff cleans up pretty easy with alcohol. Alright. Get your paper towel here. It's a lot easier to remove it while it's still wet. Alright, so then grab another one of these. You could end up actually reusing these because of how flexible they are. After the epoxy cures, it comes right out, but I don't bother with it. Alright, so make sure all the gunk's out of there. This is when we get messy. So, put your gloves on. I get my gloves from Harbor Freight. It seems to be about the only good thing that they sell there. And they're just the 9mm. They come in a pack of a bunch. How many are in here? 50? Yep. Extreme heavy duty. So you only have 25 pairs, but sometimes you only use one hand worth of a glove. So these are the extra large. So they work pretty good. Alright, so let's get into this. Because I don't solder my guards, I want to make sure that you get this nice and gooped up right in here. Not that you're relying on this as a structural part, but works good. You don't want to get any moisture down in there. Just use that to seal it up. Oh, you know what I forgot? I forgot to clean the inside of the guard. Purple. Purple brings up a funny story, actually. One of the last knives I did, I don't think I've posted very many pictures of it. It was a keyhole Bowie knife done on an antler handle, and a customer didn't really care for the white part of the antler showing where I shaped it down around the keyhole area, so he wanted it darkened up. And so I went to go source some, now I'm going to butcher this, I can never pronounce it, I get halfway through, potassium permanganate, something like that, whatever it is. It's the, I guess it's used for some type of water filter, but it's a high oxidizer, and works really good on antler. But it's purple like this. You mix it with water and it's purple. So being a small town here, you pretty much know everybody. I went into the local store that we have here for it's our well place where you get all your wells drilled and you get plumbing parts and all that stuff there. So I figure any place would have it, they would. I tried Walmart, and Walmart had it, but they had it in little liquid bottles. It was, I guess it's also for fish tanks. But I'm also getting plumbing parts for, this is back when I was building my ribbon burner forge. And so I had a handful of plumbing parts in my hand. A plumbing cap and nipple and a couple other things. I can't remember exactly what I had, but and I went up to the counter and he asked if that was everything I needed. I said no, I also was wondering if you guys had potassium permanganate, the purple stuff. And he looks at me and then looks at my plumbing parts and looks back at me and says, what are you going to do with it? And I look at him and I look down at my hand and look back at him and I'm like, oh, I'm not doing that. Well, since it's such a strong oxidizer, I guess you can also make explosives and stuff with it. But so he asked what I was doing with it because they carry it, but they don't have it out on the floor. So I told him, I says, well, I'm using it to age antler. He's like, well, why would anybody want antler purple? I says, no, it doesn't stay purple. I says, it oxidizes it and turns brown. He didn't believe me, but luckily I did some test pictures on the phone before. So I showed him before and after, and he thought that was really cool. So he's like, well, it's $50 for a jug of the crystals or whatever. And I'm like, well, that's more than I need. So he ran back and, I don't know, it was a bottle probably about half this size. He came out with it all full and he just handed it to me and I asked him how much I owed him and he says, nothing. So he wants me to make him a knife, so I got some potassium permanganate, that's the last time I'm going to say that, for free and a customer. So it's just a funny story. Alright, so we're all glued up. Let's get this on here. I'm sticking on backwards. Your guard should be nice and tight. Have to be wiggled on so it snaps. That's what you want. Nice tight fit. Alright, now that's good. Now comes the messy part. Take the rest of this and pour it down this hole. If I have enough. Come on. Oh yeah, there's plenty. It's gonna come out. Yeah, there's enough. Should get around your pins here, get the face. Not that this provides any structural integrity because it's in a shearing setup. I mean, the pins do locate and help, but seals more than anything. So somehow I've already got it all over me. Alright. So that's the nice thing about this stuff is that it just so liquid. It goes everywhere. Alright, here goes nothing. See if we can get it to go back in that container. There we go. It's one down from. Right. About the consistent maple syrup. Alright, make sure everything's good here. This one seemed to go a lot better than the last one I did. And it was pouring out everywhere. Plus I had filled it from the crown side. I'd put a hole because I wanted to fill all the way down. So I filled it, but that was, even though I do a really nice fit up on the tang slot, it was coming out of everywhere. It was a nightmare. Drip on the carpet. I've got the wife trying to hold it and wipe, and I'm trying to clamp it and wrap it with not duct tape, electrical tape, try to seal it in there. It was about a half an hour of gooiness. That didn't sound so great. Sounds a little inappropriate. But that's okay. Alright. So now here's the secret weapon. You don't have one of these clamps, you need to get one. They're absolutely fantastic. I know a lot of people make their own fixtures, but being that I use a lot of antler, works really well. I need to get another one. It's the only one I've got, but it is one of my favorites. Q-tips work pretty good. You just want to be careful because when it starts to set up and you still need to wipe it, the Q-tip will leave fuzz. Nobody wants fuzz. Who wants fuzz on their knife? A hole. Right there. I think that was a hole I found already and I already plugged it. The thing that works really good for plugging holes in antler is pitch. It has a natural color anyways. Around here, the deer rub on pine trees, and so that's why we have that color. A lot of times there'll be enough pitch left on the antler that you can scrape a small piece off and then dab it onto the hole. Stick a little piece, it's dry, so you stick it over the hole and then heat it with a lighter and then rub it in, and disappears. So there we go. So now it just needs to set for, how long was it? 72 hours? I don't know. It's a long time for it to cure. But keep your little epoxy cups here because you can watch that. And once that starts to set up and actually becomes hard, then you can take this out and do everything else you need to. So I hope that was entertaining or not, or did something for you. Fill that few minutes of your day when you don't know what to do, which is usually my morning time when I'm eating breakfast. Searching the YouTube for random stuff. I end up usually coming across my own videos. Alright, I think we are good to go. Which means I will let you guys go back out and do something productive. Go make something. Alright guys, thanks for watching, and I will be back with some other videos a little bit later.